Bolt family, the air is electric tonight. We've got behind-the-scenes movement that could reshape the offense out west. A comeback that felt impossible just weeks ago. A lightning bolt rising from the practice squad with explosive runs, and a national debate trying to cap our quarterback ceiling. And that's not even the most surprising part of the day. Buckle up, because there's context, fan reaction, and real season impact coming. Do you think the media is underestimating us? You won't believe what we've got today. So take a seat, drop a like, and let's dive straight into the news. There's real noise in the West that could shake up the receiver hierarchy and our offensive line in the coming weeks. This isn't cheap clickbait. It's a debate about market value, schematic fit, and most of all, timing. Imagine flipping a recent high pick into immediate protection for our quarterback, while an NFC foe bets on the same player as a big slot. Bold, sure, but when you weigh protection needs against a smash-mouth identity in the run game, the dilemma gets very real. Hold and recalibrate? Or capitalize while there's a market and add mass in the trenches? Breathe. The idea came from a heavy hitter, and it's already lighting up the discourse. The prediction gaining traction came from an ESPN analyst, a three-team proposal in which the Cardinals would get Quentin Johnston, the Chargers would get offensive lineman Evan Neal, plus a 2026 fifth-rounder from Arizona, and the Giants would receive a 2027 seventh via Los Angeles. Keyword, prediction, not a report. Even so, it spotlights cost, benefit, and what this offense looks like under Greg Roman. Potential gain, fortify the right side with a physical talent who can slide to guard, move bodies in the run game, and buy Justin Herbert the extra half second that wins third downs. Potential loss, a rookie deal receiver with yak juice who blocks well in 12 personnel. Here's the catch. Dealing a year 3 former first rounder is almost always selling low. That's why the fan base splits. One side prefers a reset before the rotation locks. The other fears a breakout elsewhere. Technically, there's still juice to squeeze here. Roman's motions, bunches, and stacks can repurpose Johnston as a big slot, attacking linebackers on crossers and digs, using rubs to free quick slants, and leaning on RPOs with delayed screens. In the open field, he breaks tackles. In the red zone, his frame creates tight windows. If the staff buys in, you add situational production without sacrificing the vertical threat and preserve perimeter depth. And the Cardinals in all this? For Kyler Murray, adding a tall, twitchy WR3 behind Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride makes immediate sense. For a fifth rounder, Arizona gets real depth in a room that thins out after the top. Johnston would see favorable slot matchups against CB3, CB4, punishing zone with sits and hitting seams off play action. If it clicks, he becomes a chain mover as the third option. If it doesn't, the rookie deal limits risk. For us, Neal inside could mean more push on duo and power, more believable play action, and cleaner pockets for longer progressions. In the end, the season-level impact hinges on two on-field answers: Neal's growth at guard and how much this staff believes it can unlock Johnston here. If protection stabilizes, we gain situational efficiency to close games. If we keep the wide out and refine his usage, you can harvest red zone touchdowns with well-timed picks and compressed slants. Sell or develop, identity before narrative. The decision has to serve Herbert and the plan. And that's not even the most surprising part of the day. Hang on, because the next chapter hits the locker room. Practice in El Segundo felt like a psychological test. When the running back ditched the no-contact jersey and stepped into the first drill, the field held its breath. Months after a holiday accident that could have affected his vision, he returned with a tinted visor, elastic stride, and a direct message: "I'm not asking permission, I'm reclaiming territory." No speeches or theatrics, just hard cuts, burst through contact, and a posture that raises the locker room standard. It's the picture that unites the fan base. Quiet courage, total focus, and the kind of energy that changes a team's temperature. The crossing wasn't easy. Missing training camp kills rhythm, compresses the playbook, and delays timing with the line. Even so, daily progress showed. Jim Harbaugh, famously stingy with words, mentioned a possibility for the opener against the Chiefs in Brazil, and in the head coach's dictionary, that already signals real hope. The specifics of the injury remain private, but the essentials look intact: reaction, processing, and confidence. For a position that runs on peripheral vision and split-second decisions, that's everything. The public narrative can trade in speculation. Inside the building, the practice tape is what counts. Fake. If he's cleared, the plan has teeth. On duo and power, patience to follow the pull meets late gap explosion. In play action, linebackers get stuck between honoring the run and covering the flat, opening the dig and the intermediate crosser for safety valves. Without him, the picture changes. More on the rookie committee packages, the screen game as an extension of the run, and long drives to protect the defense. Against the reigning champs in week 1, a single well-planted cut can be the difference between owning the clock and getting dragged into a dangerous shootout. The margin is razor thin, decided by details and execution. Fans are split, and that's fine. One camp preaches caution, vision is sacred for the position. The other wants him on the first snap to send a global message. Inside the roster, the human impact is bigger. Watching someone confront uncertainty and return hungry changes the chemistry. The O-line finds its voice, the huddle feels steadier, and the coordinator alternates hammer and scalpel. Hammer to grind inside, scalpel to slice when the defense finally blinks. And that's still not the most surprising part of the day. The next name could shake up the touch distribution as early as week 1. The locker room was still processing Harris's return when another move grabbed attention. Amar Johnson joining the practice squad. It may sound like a footnote from the outside, but if you follow closely you know these additions can tilt a season. After all, what is a practice squad but a quiet showcase for hungry players who just need a window to explode? And Johnson's recent tape makes fans sit up. Yes, that touchdown sprinting through the Packers defense is still fresh for anyone who watched the preseason. The Ramai-Sanders comparison was inevitable. Losing Sanders stung, especially after the hype, but the front office counterpunched quickly. Johnson is exactly the kind of swing that can pay off open field speed, aggressive cuts on outside zone, and the ability to re-accelerate after first contact. It's not a one-off highlight. The film shows consistent tackle breaking and a knack for finding daylight against second strings. For a team still hunting balance between ground and pound and the air game, having a hidden trump card can be the difference when the inevitable injuries hit. Early impact might be subtle. At first, Johnson should rotate through practice snaps and specific scout team looks, helping the defense prep for speedbacks. But that window can also be a springboard. In weeks, he could carve out a role on special teams, kick and punt returns where his acceleration plays up. From there, it's about staff trust. One primetime return can rearrange a depth chart in a blink, and with Harbaugh in charge, we know effort and intensity get rewarded without waiting on draft status or contract lines. Fan reaction already shows two clear lanes. One side applauds the front office's aggression, seeing Johnson as the missing diamond in the rough. The other stays cautious, noting preseason stars don't always translate in the regular season. Truth is, in a league where every inch matters, a back who can turn something routine into 40 yards is gold. The Chargers can't waste speed, especially against fast defenses like the Chiefs and 49ers. That tiny edge can be the difference between choking the clock and giving the ball back. Some say it is clear this staff refuses to settle, keeps searching for edges, and tunes the roster with a long view. And when a team keeps the competitive flame burning even in how it builds a practice squad, it's a sign the culture is shifting. If that's already electric, wait until you hear what they're saying about Justin Herbert this preseason. National critiques have never been sharper, and the pressure knob just hit max. National voices can try to reduce Justin Herbert to cold stats and isolated moments, but inside Los Angeles, the conversation is different. Herbert hasn't just proven he's elite, he's walking into a season where everything lines up for a definitive leap. While the outside narrative replays no signature playoff moment on loop, fans here know the blend of a new system, targeted reinforcements, and the number 10's maturity are weapons that don't show up in a magazine ranking. Yes, Sports Illustrated slotted Herbert at number 23 on its most influential list. Instead of celebrating it, they used the space to revisit ghosts. The Raiders game, the Jaguars comeback, the interceptions against the Texans. What they forgot, context matters. In 2024, Herbert was still acclimating to Greg Roman's run-first system, an offense built to wear you down. Even then, he posted 3,170 yards and 23 touchdowns, numbers that would be headline-worthy for most QBs, yet somehow became ammo against him. Now the landscape's different. The arsenal around him is more balanced, with a refreshed receiver room, a sturdier line, and a plan that marries physicality with vertical shots. Herbert enters 2025 with a chance to quiet outside noise. The opener against the Chiefs in Brazil is more than a Week 1 game. It's a global stage against the division bar setter. This is where Herbert can uncork it, command the pocket, hunt deep matchups, and start the year authoring his own narrative. A clean, decisive performance forces even skeptics to admit the lightning bolt isn't promise. It's reality. Fans already feel it. In forums and group chats, many want number 10 to turn that external pressure into jet fuel. The expectation is a freer, more aggressive quarterback, turning drives into pointed replies for every doubter. In the end, no ranking survives primetime wins. If the Chargers find stride early, Herbert flips from target to torchbearer for a run that can put this franchise on a different tier. The question isn't whether he has the talent, it's whether the whole team rises with him. Do you believe this is the year Justin Herbert quiets the country and forces the NFL to rewrite its own judgments? Bolt family, what a ride. We started with a trade prediction that could redraw the offense, moved through the return of a warrior who stared down fear and came back stronger, watched a surprise spark climb off the practice squad, and wrapped by taking on the national heat surrounding our quarterback. 4 different chapters pointing to the same truth. The Chargers are writing a season that can shatter labels and turn doubt into respect. Now I want to hear from you. Is this the year the switch flips for good? Hit like, share with fellow fans, and drop your take. Our voice is the fuel that pushes this team forward.